Now, no joke, my crush ends up grabbing me by the neck, and for some reason, she whispers into my ear, "I don't care about the game, Bubba. You're mine." And at that moment, I didn't understand what was going on until I realized she wanted me to fail No Nut November. And all the people that were counting on me not to fail, well, this made it almost impossible. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane and embarrassing story. Now, this story all takes place back when I was in high school, and this was my grade 10 year. Now, as you guys may know, in my grade 10 year, I was a major player. No joke, I was literally known in my school for always doing the Devil's Tango. And I gotta say, it made a lot of girls hate me, and a lot of guys think that I was cool. I don't know why people thought it was cool for me to have a high body count. Like, doing the Devil's Tango is in no way a flex. But I remember as months were going on, there was a girl that I ended up meeting in the month of October. Now, this girl ended up becoming a transfer student from a different school, and the school wasn't like anything far away, and she's heard of me before. And when she entered our school in October, she got along with a lot of the girls really easily, which, to be fair, for some reason, I could be totally wrong about this, by the way, but don't you guys ever feel like it's easier for a girl to become friends with other girls than a guy becoming friends with other guys? Like, I don't really know. I feel like it's always been harder to hang out with dudes than girls, but at the same time, I've always ended up doing the girls that I've been talking to and hanging out with, so I don't know if I'm a good example, but I don't know. Comment down below. But back to the story. I remember when this girl ended up entering our school in October, I ended up meeting her once, and the only time I got to meet her was when I bumped into her in the hallway. I saw her in the hallway walking down with some school books, and I bumped into her saying, oh, my bad. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And I remember I ended up going down on my knees to help her pick up her books, but she was already down there picking them up. She was way faster than I am, and I remember when she was down on her knees, I ended up looking down at her, and I was in major shock because her eyes, when she looked up at me, were the most beautiful eyes ever. And if I could whip out my... Whoa, okay, wait, maybe that's too much. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I remember she ended up standing up and saying, "You really need to be careful where you're going." Yeah, no, you're totally right. My bad. By the way, speaking of, what's your name again? What do you mean speaking of? You know what? You're being kind of weird. I'm gonna go. And that's when she walked away. Now, honestly, I don't know why she thought I was weird for that, but at the same time, I don't know. I was just trying to start a conversation, and I really couldn't think of anything since her eyes basically flashbanged me into thinking that I had no riz, even though I did have riz and still do to this day. But I remember as she was walking away, a girl ended up running up to her, seeing what just happened, and went up to her saying, "Oh, hey, girl, let me talk to you real quick." And this girl that ended up running up to her, well, she was not a fan of me. She was one of the girls that hated me completely. But at that moment, when she ended up leaving out of my eyesight, I'm not gonna lie, I still kept thinking about her. In a way, I guess I kind of ended up having a crush on her, which sounds totally insane, but at the same time, like I said, back when I was in high school, I was a helpless romantic. So falling in love was very easy for me to do. But now this is where the story gets really, well, I guess I would say intense, because I remember November finally kicks around. And when November comes around, all of us boys know that No Nut November starts. If you guys don't know what No Nut November is, let me give a quick briefing. So No Nut November means for the whole month of November, you are not allowed to do the Devil's Cream or do anything with your eggplant. And yes, for all those weirdos out there, you're not even allowed to ed. This was the time where basically boys had to make sure to keep their testosterone inside of them and keep themselves manly. And the only, and I mean the only time that you are able to not participate in No Nut November is when you're able to grow a beard. If you're able to grow a nice beard, that means you would participate in Movember, where you would grow your beard out and basically show how masculine you've gotten over the years of growing up. That is basically the storyline of No Nut November. I don't care what rumors you heard. This is the legitness. And on this channel, I only say legitness. But back to the story. I remember when November kicks around, all the guys in my school end up meeting up in the school bathroom. And we all get together by the bathroom stalls and we start talking about how we all have to participate in No Nut November. Basically, on the first day, all the guys would put themselves into a giant group chat, and whoever had a beard had an option to leave the group chat and not participate. Obviously, though, they had to always update themselves with the beard. So there'd be a group chat to make sure that you grow your beard, and there'd be a group chat to make sure you can inform everyone that you failed No Nut November. And if you failed No Nut November, there's a day where you have to go commando at school. And well, I'm not gonna lie, going commando at school is really embarrassing because you never know what's gonna happen when you don't have your underwear on. But back to what I was saying, I remember when all the guys meet up, I remember I was in grade 10 and my beard wasn't really coming out this time. Actually, here's a photo of me back in grade 10. As you guys can see, absolutely no facial hair. So I ended up participating in No Nut November. And as all the guys end up finishing their meeting and walking out of the bathroom, I remember a bunch of girls were watching all of us guys walk out, and they looked at us as if they wanted to absolutely end us. Because all the girls in our school always thought that No Nut November was the most dumbest thing to participate in, and that it's totally just a hoax and a joke, when in reality, they don't understand the importance of No Nut November. So I remember as I was walking out of the bathroom and I saw those girls out there, no joke, there was one girl that was staring at me and made it look like she wanted to end me. And that was the girl that I had a crush on that I met in October. Now, I just decided to ignore her because obviously it was the first of the month. There was no way I was gonna fail No Nut November. So I ended up walking away and basically making sure that I don't talk to any girls. But for some reason, since all the girls know how important No Nut November is to me, even the girls that hated me would walk up to me randomly and say, "Hey, Bubba, do you think my cherries look good today?" You know what? I don't really care. You can walk away. I know what you're trying to do. It's not funny, is what I would always say to them. But as I was sitting at the football field eating my sandwich, I remember the girl that I had a crush on walks up to me. She walks up to me and looks at me and says, "Hey, you're Bubba, right?" Yeah. Is everything all right? "Yeah, I was just wondering if you remembered me. Basically, like, I was the girl that, you know, you bumped into, like, one of my first weeks here." "Oh, yeah, no, I remember. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, by the way. It was totally random." "Oh, no, it's totally cool. I was wondering if I could sit beside you." Yeah, sure. You have no friends still? It's been over a month." "Oh, no, I have friends, but, like, honestly, like, I just wanted to talk to you about something." Sure." I remember this girl ends up sitting beside me, and she looks at me right into my eyes and says, "Bubba, I was, like, curious. Do you want to, like, maybe, like, hang out today after school?" Sure. What do you want to do? You want to go to, like, the mall? Do you want to, like, you know, hang out at the football field? Like, what do you feel like doing?" "Oh, I mean, like, we can go to your place." I would, but sadly I can't. I have family at home and, you know, it's not possible." In reality, it totally was possible, by the way. Quick side note, I could have definitely brought this girl home and basically failed No Nut November and basically do the Devil's Tango with this girl. But obviously I'm not going to do that. So I decided to pick public places when I was talking to her just to make sure that I wouldn't have to take her home and do the Devil's Tango. But then I remember this girl out of nowhere ends up looking around, and then she looks over at her friends that are in a group just staring at us. And that's when she looks back at me and says, "Oh, if you want, we could hang out by the field." Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, I'll see you after school. I guess here? "Yeah, that'll be totally awesome. Sure." And right after, this girl ends up standing up, going to her group of friends that were staring us down the whole time, and just starts giggling. I had no idea what was the fuss about. Maybe it was just, you know, building the confidence to ask me out, but I really didn't care. Whatever it was, I was not gonna lose focus on doing No Nut November. And what happens next? Well, it's actually kind of embarrassing, because I remember after school finally came around, and I ended up going to sit by the football field where she wanted to hang out originally. And as I'm sitting there, I remember I ended up waiting there for like over like 2 hours. Yeah, I waited 2 hours for this girl, and you guys are probably thinking I'm crazy for that, but if I'm being honest, I had a major crush on her, so I thought it would be, you know, okay too. And I remember this girl ends up finally showing up, my crush, and she looks at me and says, "Oh, Bubba, I'm so sorry. I was gonna come sooner, but like something came up." Okay. Well, I mean, you want to sit down?" "Yeah, sure. If anything, I was wondering, can I ask you something and you be totally honest about it?" I mean, I'll try. Sure. What's up?" "How many girls have you done in this school? Like, how many girls have I done the Devil's Tango with?" "Yeah, like, I actually need to know." "I don't know. A lot of them, I guess." "And are you still, like, in No Nut November?" Yeah, literally started today." "Well, I was just curious. I think maybe you should break it for me." No, I'm definitely not," is what I told her. But this girl wouldn't take no for an answer. She ends up grabbing me by the throat and pushing me down and starts making out with me. And at that moment, I'm not gonna lie, I already got bricked up. And I was already in the mood, and that's when, literally, no joke, me and her, we ended up doing the Devil's Tango. We did the Devil's Tango. And I did do the Devil's Cream. And, yeah, I failed No Nut November. Okay, I failed it once again. This is crazy because you guys are probably wondering, when do I ever succeed in No Nut November? And I will tell you eventually that story. But at the same time, it's almost the end of the month. So hopefully you guys are still participating, because if you are, then fall for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.